finds the edge, but it is Texas who delivered a fatal blow on this court.
The regional match point against them to Tennessee. They were able to come back, win it, and then beat Stanford in 4 on their home court to advance to the national semifinal and win it all.
Ready to get the ball in the air immediately. Anna Pringle will start serving for Stanford. She's a defensive specialist out of La Jolla. Immediately to the middle. And that's going to be one of our storylines is this freshman middle, Aiden Ames.
Stanford is a very strong serving team. They said earlier they wanted to go after Jenna Winnes. I think they want to keep the ball off of it.
Pringle again. Goes right after Winnes, as you predicted. Skinner over the top. Block is there. Was picked up, and it's Texas with the defense.
Reagan Rutherford and Aiden Ames starting net for Texas.
Aiden Ames serving for Texas, 6'4", true freshman middle blocker. Is right into the center. Ogilvy passes and delivered outside to Elia Rubin.
Isolation on one-on-one. Look how fast that ball is set, and the middle blocker for Texas lost. Can't catch up with it.
Elena Ogilvy serving. Trouble, can Stanford capitalize? Outside with pace, Elia Rubin finishes it off. Jared Elliott, the head coach of Texas, he's in his 24th season at Texas, reigning national champions, back-to-back national champions. To the middle. Texas running the middle, trying to establish it. That one sent a little bit long. On the other side, Kevin Hambley, the head coach of the Stanford Cardinal. He's been in this program since 2017, won 3 national championships. Pass is tight, they go to the middle, try a little tenderness this time along for Mariana Singletary.
And Mari Singletary, number 11 in burnt orange for Texas, has really come on strong. Shows a little finesse on that last attack.
Kayla Akana serving, a transfer from Nebraska. Down it goes. Rubin delivering, as we said. She's just lethal, especially when they serve her.
And there's a little delay in the delivery from Cami Minor, and that really freezes the middle blocker on the other side of the net, allowing that left side attacker for Stanford to get some big holes in the block.
Brings back Madison Skinner to serve. Spent some time in the USA gym, represented the United States with Team USA in Rio de Janeiro over the summer in the lead up to the Olympics. Halter back to Winnes, big block in front of her. Rubin switches pace, it's up. Winnes pops up quickly. Just too much. It's Sammy Francis.
Sammy Francis finally healthy for Stanford in the middle. She's been battling some ailments the last couple seasons, and she has had a huge impact on the efficiency of Stanford's offense. Good off 1 foot behind. Very rangy attacker for Stanford.
Rubin serving. Well off the net. Big block is set up, and it's Sammy Francis again.
Right now, the Stanford serve is getting Texas out of system and off the net. The passers for Texas need to lock in and push that ball forward. Out of system play, solid Stanford block. That's an area they really want to improve on.
Winnes again, and Sammy Francis is just so high up. That was a recycled play so she could take another swing. Winnes plays it just right, getting the touch.
She had a huge block in front of her, just just uses the fingertips of that big block out of bounds. Stanford in a rotation with Cami Miner in the front row. She's not afraid to attack that ball.
Back, change of pace from Sammy Francis this time. Dropping it where they're not.
Sammy Francis is long at 6'6" and attacks the right front player for Texas, which is Ella Swindle, the setter. Watch this dynamic, high contact, just driving that ball cross court to that right front location.
Taylor Yu serves down the line. And finished by Texas.
One of the things we saw from Texas last year was Maddie Skinner out of the back row. Stanford talked about how they wanted to defend it. They wanted hands in front, one-on-one. Maddie Skinner's going to win that battle out of the back row.
Reagan Rutherford enters for Texas opposite. First year with the program on the court from Kentucky. Back to Rutherford. A beautiful left-hand swing, slicing off the block.
And Reagan Rutherford last year played for Kentucky, graduated from there, came to Texas for her last year, and she is a dynamic attacker on the right side.
Ella Swindle was a true freshman setter to a national championship last year. It only happened 3 times in history.
Incredible.
As you mentioned, they have gone back and forth. Texas has a little bit with their setting situation.
Yes, over the offseason, Avery Carlson, a setter from Baylor who grew up in Texas, transferred and kind of bolstering the setting at Texas. And there was a setter battle to start the season, but Jared Elliott likes the way Ella Swindle has responded to that pressure.
Yep. Texas with 2 great options. Meanwhile, Cami Miner delivers an ace. Flat, very tough serve. Outside, Rutherford holds. And immediately, they get Jordan Harvey involved. Harvey, number 5. Through the middle again. We're seeing Texas run that middle as much as possible.
When Texas has a good first contact, they are very confident using those middles. Ada Ames, the freshman middle. Look at her make herself available, attacking the gap between the middle and right side blocker.
Wenis down the line. Serve pressure from both teams, very tough. Beautiful dig from Wenis. Set passes Skinner a bit. And a use off the hands. Absolutely well played by E. Parker.
And that ball was set tight to the net. E. Parker got her feet there and just wiped it off the hands of the Texas block.
E. Parker, a redshirt freshman. Long of a serve. It's long by a lot.
But she's one of the best servers on Stanford because she just goes for it. Puts a lot of pace on it. Kevin Hamley said, look, statistically, we look at missed serves, and it doesn't hurt us that much. So we want to continue to go for it.
And Jared Elliott, in our conversation with him, said Stanford is a very tough serving team. That's part of the philosophy. Chase down. It's going to be a free ball to Texas. They bypass the middle and let Skinner unload, but how about Ogilvy getting underneath it? On the second time from Singletary. Wow, Texas unloading.
Texas getting things going in transition. Look at this beautiful swing by Skinner, but Ogilvy, the libero for Stanford, picks it up, and then a quick attack out of the middle to Mari Singletary.
Dig, fine. Everybody knows it's going this way. Skinner trying to carve it, slice it, comes up short.
That ball set a little bit wide in transition outside the antenna. Skinner can't save it.
Elena Ogilvy, 5th-year senior, has been working on her serve. Skinner's pass is good, gets it back. That's a shutdown block. The crowd is into it as Harvey and Sammy Francis combine.
And Jordan Harvey, number 5 in white, just not a freshman, a sophomore, excuse me, on that opposite, sets up that block. Big right-hand turn back into the court for Stanford.
Ogilvy this time dropping serve. It's over. No. There was that moment of hesitation. Another ace for Ogilvy and a very different type of serve.
I like the location, serving the middle of the court. It's going to disrupt the offensive route from the middle attacker. She wants to run in that area. So there's a lot of traffic right in the middle of the court. Well done by Ogilvy.
It's dropping floater now. This time moves them back again. Ogilvy will set. Dug by Skinner. She's way outside. Only chance is to just keep it in sharp. Wow, Miner. Very low and quick to Harvey.
And you have to credit Cami Miner.
Yeah.
She was putting that ball in such a nice location for Harvey to attack the line. Stanford up 15-9 early in this first set.
Put Stanford ahead, and there's been some firepower added to Texas's team. Look at these 3 players from great programs who have all decided to come to Texas. Great culture that they've built. Jared Elliott's worked very hard on it.
Jared Elliott is really focused on it, and I would say the last 3-4 years it's been really good, and players want to be a part of it.
He credits the communication with his team. Meanwhile, 4-0 run for Stanford. Ogilvy serves again. Dime pass. Well dug, dropping it. Here's a free ball for Stanford. Sammy Francis in the middle. A give and go between Francis and Miner.
The evolution and strength of Sammy Francis. She's got the range, but the delay in the set really freezes Mariana Singletary, the middle blocker. You see the range of Francis going cross-body to that right back location.
Texas needs to find a way to stop. 5 consecutive points by Stanford. That'll do it. An absolute rip as Skinner unloads.
And Madison Skinner's working hard. The set, the passes have been a little off the net, so everybody knows the ball's going left side to Madison Skinner. So she has to work against a big block. But look at her get her feet there and hit with range inside that left back defense.
Swindle now front court setter. And in the middle for Texas.
Really impressed with the pace of Cami Miner running the offense. Middle blocker for Texas. Looks like she might have lost a contact lens.
Yeah, that's Nia Button, who just came in. 6'3", redshirt freshman out of Louisville. Yep, has only appeared in 3 sets until now, so now she's like, I'm in, it's at Stanford.
And that ball might have grazed her head to knock that loose.
We've got another fun women's volleyball match on Tuesday night. Number 21, Florida State, travels to number 13, Florida, for a Battle of the Sunshine State. Coverage begins Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. That's always a fun matchup. Earlier to University, or to USF, Southern Florida. Button's got her contact all fixed up. Stanford has won 6 of the last 7 points. Skinner, another rip right through the block.
Ella Swindle working hard to locate that ball for Maddie Skinner. She knows what Madison Skinner can do with a well-located ball.
Madison Skinner serving. Taylor Bevan, number 4 for Stanford, has been inserted in to bolster the serve receive. Skinner goes at Bevan. Bevan delivers. What a perfect pass to allow Cami Minor to call her own number.
Cami Minor, number 2 in white, has been phenomenal so far today. Running the offense, and I told you, she is an offensive-minded setter. But Stanford putting that ball right in her hands, and that allows her to attack that ball. Button needs to have her hands up, knowing that that setter's in the front row.
From the backcourt, the timing was slightly off. Texas's block smothering. Cami Minor just looks so comfortable in her pace. Is there a touch?
Park Hurd swinging for that deep corner, trying to get a touch on the block, but no touch detected. Stanford again in a rotation with Cami Minor in the front row. Look for her to attack that ball.
Yep, both front row setters. Abe Names back in the middle. That was probably saved. Back to Wemmes. They're going to go to Wemmes again, and Sammy Francis right there. What a block by Swindle. Francis off one. Crossbody.
Sammy Francis, 17 in white, working hard on both sides of the ball. Really nice defensive touches, and then she gets a chance in transition, going off 1 foot. That one just high and hard to the cross-court corner.
Her attack point is so high above the block. Taylor Yu again into serve. Oh my, missed by inches, if that.
And I think Kevin Hambley's okay with that.
Yeah,
missed by an inch.
I agree. That's something that Kevin Hambley has talked with us about. It's worth it to him to have hard servers and accept the misses. Swindle, serve. Cami Minor still up front. So this is long.
Last time Cami Minor was on the line, Stanford went for a scoring run.
Yeah, they did. 6 consecutive points for Minor. 13 serving 20. Welcome those of you that have been watching Louisville and Creighton. We've got a great matchup here between Texas and Stanford, a top 10 matchup between 2 teams who have won 5 of the last 8 NCAA championships. Set number 1, Stanford leading by 7 thanks to a 6-0 run.
And Kevin Hambley talked to us about his team. He said, look, we are a work in progress, but some of the things we do well is we serve really well. And that has been evident today. They put tons of pressure on Texas so far early in this first set.
Yeah, and it doesn't always show up as an ace, does it? It's just the out-of-system.
Out-of-system plays allows their block to go to work, makes their defense a lot more comfortable because it limits the offensive options of Texas.
Yeah, 3 reception errors for Texas already. Let's go back and look at the stars that we focused upon because they have been delivering, starting with Cami Minor.
Cami Minor is something special, one of the most dynamic athletes in the country. In her delivery, the way she runs this offense is incredible. Not only the location, but the pace. She can do it from anywhere on the court, and that's why this Stanford offense.
Where you talked about all the things that Cami Minor does besides set the ball. She's had some aces, she's attacked.
Last play, she just had an ace down the line, but she's an offensive player, fantastic defensive player as well. But obviously, she's the quarterback of the Stanford offense.
Outside again, Skinner, great pass, and now up on the dig. Cami Minor back. Another great delivery, successful for Cami Minor.
Cami Minor, again, taking Stanford on a scoring run from the back line, but her location, how she sets up her hitters and makes the players around her better is what makes her special. And sometimes those aren't in the stat book, right? It's just making everybody else around her look great.
Yeah, she's so experienced, over 4,000 career assists. She takes the time to really engage the fans, talk to people in the community. She's absolutely beloved here in Stanford, California. And another tough serve pulls. Texas out of system, meaning that you're not using her middles.
And Texas leaving Reagan Rutherford, the left-handed player on the left side of the court. They've got confidence in her. She goes down the line, catching that back line for the kill.
When we're talking about out of system, because they have been doing that, what does that really mean when you're serving a team out of system?
Well, it means that you're pulling the setter off the ideal location to run the offense. So usually behind the 3-meter line, not in an ideal location where you've got all your hitters available.
That's another type of serve that people don't always stack. The overpass.
And Jenna Wenis uses the midi serve, according to Jared Elliott. And that's the serve where the bottom just drops out. You think it looks like the deep ball, but the bottom drops out and it catches people by surprise.
Ogilvy moves underneath the serve. That's a good display of Minor's strength, getting into the pins quickly.
Jordan Harvey, the recipient of that beautiful set on the left side.
Ipar Kurt serving. Straight up the middle. Pass is good. Skinner takes something off of it. So does Rubin. And Rutherford decides to hammer.
Reagan Rutherford has been so impressive, and Texas has so much confidence in her. Look at this set by Ella Swindle in the sharp right at the 3-meter line. Beautiful offensive range right between the two defenders.
Texas has brought in Rella Binney, freshman, a setter, also a server, and a defender for this team. That's a beautiful attack off hands. Why is it so successful?
Well, it's creative offense. You see a well-formed block and you just go off the flat. It's basically a flat swing off the tips of the hands, which takes it over the defense, tough to pick up.
And we are already at set point. Stanford pass is nice. Skinner going for fingers, but it's picked up by Stanford. Quick. Little recycle. Minor surveys and options. Goes to Francis for the win. Set one dominant for Stanford.
And if you look at Stanford's offensive numbers, they hit 433 in the first set to dominate this start. 25-16 over Texas. Was doing an amazing job distributing the ball, and that starts with the Stanford pass. So they're passing well, and Texas not serving and putting enough pressure on.
And that 5-0 run was with Minor at the service line. Cami Minor, one of the best setters in the country, if not the best. And so experienced. She's, you know, when you've got somebody, Holly, and you were an NCAA champion setter, who's been running the offense for 4 years, what does that do to steady when you get a freshman in the middle or something?
Well, it's like having a quarterback that you're used to depending on. They know how to run the offense. They know how to make the players better around them.
A couple of Cami Minor's numbers. Wenis picked up by Ogilvy. A nice follow. Minor, quick look. There's the block, and now Texas starts off the second set on the right side of the score.
Reagan Rutherford is such a fun attacker to watch on that left side, and it really stresses the middle blocker for Stanford because it's a fastball out to the pin, and she's a left-handed attacker.
Jenna Wenis behind the service line. We saw that midi serve that you were talking about. I'm going to laser Ogilvy right underneath it. And Stanford running the middle at will. Important for the freshman Lizzie Andrew.
And Cami Minor was behind the 3-meter line and has enough confidence to get that that ball to her freshman attacker. Her freshman attacker, Lizzie Andrew, is the one who's trying to expect that ball in those type of situations where she probably in the junior level did not see that.
Exactly. Kevin Hamlin talked to us about that she has to trust Cami Minor, that she can do superhuman things that maybe Lizzie Andrew has never experienced before.
Texas.
As Emma Halter goes back to serve, Aiden Ames, freshman from Proper, Texas, comes in the middle. Pass is perfect. Halter puts up a set for Skinner. Ogilvy makes it look so easy. Texas's block shuts it down.
Ogilvy, the libero for Stanford, in some really nice spots, bodying up those seams. But the Texas transition block by Aiden Ames and Maddie Skinner, too big. Here's the dig by Ogilvy, just sliding in where she sees a hole in the block, and then the block, Maddie Skinner getting it done on the defensive side.
A serve for Halter, and Texas turns the tide with a 3:01.
Jared Elliott just today was telling us, look, Emma Halter keeps getting better. She's such a great competitor, but her serving has really improved this year.
Yeah, Jared Elliott saying, I can't believe she's a third year. She's always got a great attitude, so grateful. And a very rare communication error between two veteran players for the Cardinals.
And if you've played with Cami Minor, you know she can get to any second ball on the court. There's no hesitation. Some other setters you know can't get there. But Cami Minor, you let her get it unless she yells help.
Rubin. It's the finish with the hand that gets that off the block.
We talked to Kevin Hamlin before this match today, and he said, look, when Elliot Rubin passes the ball and then goes on to attack it, she's hitting over 500. So please serve her the ball.
Serve Rubin the ball.
She's in a way better rhythm when she actually passes and attacks than when she doesn't pass.
We're just giving a scouting report to everybody, right? And Ogilvy, this is the story we heard. Tough serving Stanford makes it incredibly difficult.
It's part of the identity of Stanford year after year, and being an aggressive serving team is something that can really hide a lot of weaknesses, right? And Stanford is a work in progress, working on their blocking, but if they can get Texas out of system, that will really help their defense.
Delivery, and Ogilvy not only gets it, but pops it up to a nice settable ball. Harvey had plans.
Madison Skinner, her left hand was over on the net, sealing that ball before Harvey could even attack it.
Yeah, maybe you can swipe that ball on somebody else, but not on Madison Skinner. O'Connor plays backcourt for Reagan Rutherford for Texas. Rubin recycles straight into the block, this time pushing it through. Skinner, oh, what a bring back by Rubin. Amazing defense. Rubin sets Harvey. And a net violation against Sammy Francis of Stanford.
That was a point opportunity for Stanford. Watch this dig here by Elia Rubin. Changes directions with her left hand to keep it alive on her side of the net. Incredible effort there.
You point out with the left hand, so important, bringing it back in. Wow, a crushing kill.
Stanford's offense is on fire today, hitting on all cylinders. And look at the pace on this set to the left pin by Cami Minor to Elia Rubin, who goes outside the block of Ella Swindle down the line.
Jordan Harvey's serve gets Texas in trouble. And that's where you see the tough serving. Does that come up as a stat for Harvey? No,
it does not. But that set coming way off the net from Skinner has to go over her shoulder, and she's got to try and get on top of it.
Great pass by Wenis, bringing it back in. And so Skinner can attack.
I saw in the first set, Skinner talking to Wenis about, hey, what am I doing? And Wenis is like, look, you're a little under the ball. I saw them kind of having that conference, just trying to find their rhythm. And it's nice to have a player on the court who's behind you watching that, who can give you feedback.
Absolutely, and high standards for these back-to-back national champions. Elia Rubin will serve now for Stanford with Maddie Skinner in the backcourt, out of the serve receive. More tough serving leads to more challenges. Kurtz ready outside. Texas got too hungry on the block and touched the net.
And the pace of the set is what really creates problems and stresses the block for Texas. Net violation, Ella Swindle trying to chase that ball as a blocker.
Beautiful pass from Ames. Ipar fired up about the block, but Texas said, wait a minute, we're not done. Whoa. Let's talk about the evolution of Sammy Francis.
6 kills on 8 swings, hitting over 600. But she's getting it done both sides of the ball. We're seeing her make some nice block moves, but the offensive range with which she's attacking today is the best I've seen from her.
Kevin Hamley telling us that Sammy Francis was frustrated by the last 2 winners not getting into the national semifinals.
And this is a Stanford group that is very motivated. They've got 4 players who have been part of this team, who know what the expectations are for this program, and they want to do great things.
Substitution again for Texas as they bring Nia Bunton up front. Kevin Hamley watching his team. Sammy Francis. Francis gets a piece of it. Ipar Kurt. Back to Francis again, and this time Francis gets hung up in the net. Point, Texas.
Sammy Francis comes back to her team, says, my bad, just followed through with her hand, catches part of the tape.
Texas with the lead by 2. Aiden Ames serving. Nia Bunton, number 55, in burnt orange up front, in the middle for Texas. The harder they hit, the harder it falls. Beautiful block by Stanford.
And Cami Minor, number 2 in white, set up that block. Yes, Sammy Francis got out there and closed it, but watch Cami Minor set this block up, and then the close from the middle blocker, Francis, number 17.
10 blocks for Francis in the 4-set win over Santa Barbara the other day.
Service pressure, creating point opportunities. Freshman middle, Lizzie Andrew, number 11, cleans up that overpass.
Taylor Yu, if you remember, served 2 balls out, that tough serving, that one in, creating that. Laser serve down the line. How about that? We're seeing Whitney Lonstein for the first time take her first swing of the season. Number 26 in burnt orange. Here she is again. Lonstein pops it back over. No touch. Point, Texas. And it's exciting to see Lonstein in for the first time. Number 26.
It is. Head coach Jared Elliott of Texas said, look, the last 2 weeks, she's been phenomenal in practice. And if we need her tonight, or today, excuse me, we are not afraid to put her in.
Swindle serve. Back tight as they overload behind the setter. Cami Minor quick to Kurt. Kurt off the block and good for Stanford.
And Ipar Kurt is part of the Turkish national team program and had a big summer, came in to this season very confident, and she's put up some incredible numbers. Last match, 18 kills, hit 538.
For Cami Minor, do you serve Lonstein here, who has not played all year?
Definitely.
And she does. She tries to anyway. Emma Halter says, I got you. They're going to set against her. They're going to do everything they can against her. Kurt, though, swings out.
Ipar Kurt crushed that ball, just missing wide. Looks like the Texas block giving Stanford some room to attack down that line early in this match.
Lonstein had surgery in January, and Jarrett Elliott says there's no harder worker. You talked about those 2 great weeks of practice she has had. And she has 2 more possible years to play. Nice pass, but a missed connection.
First missed connection offensively for Stanford.
And again, that's between Minor and Andrews, still working out those kinks, as to be expected. Lonstein again. Rubin's pass is good. Harvey. Oh, rip of an arm. Wow.
Ipar Kurt on the right side that time. Again, I said Texas giving some line to Stanford, and they are taking advantage of those swings.
Kurt's arm swing is so quick. Halter serving. Aiden Ames comes in up front for Texas. Beautiful pass for Stanford. Allows quick to Elia Rubin.
Elia Rubin's got all the tools that time again, flat off the hands. We know she can crank that angle. We saw her crush one line. Big leadership role for her this year for Stanford.
Elena Ogilvie. Back again. What a block. Shut down by Rubin.
And this is an area of Rubin's game that's really improved. She knew this ball was coming fast, and she got over on the opponent's side of the net quicker with her hands defensively, and that's how to shut down that quick attack.
Drops it short. Causes some problems on Texas's side.
Little out of system, and it starts with the pass. Just kind of lost the rhythm of Texas offense, and now Stanford back up by 1 after trailing most of the second set. She was their opposite, but did some incredible things for that Nebraska team. Now she's wearing burnt orange, and Jared Elliott's pretty happy about it.
Yeah, she played a couple years there, was a member of that runner-up team, then sat out in 2023, had a baby, built her family, and went to Texas in December, surgery in January, and here she is on the court seeing her first collegiate action in burnt orange. And to switch positions from opposite to outside too, Holly, what's the great challenge there?
Well, Madison Skinner did it. So Jared Elliott said, look, we give them time. When you make a position change like that, we give them time to just learn the different angles with which you attack, how you block, and Whitney Lonstein is making that transition to the left side.
Another scoring run for Stanford, 3-0. Now 4-0. There's another change of pace on the serve. Very interesting, right? Skinner on her knees to receive.
Yes, and that's the serving pressure. Their bottom is dropping out and making Texas uncomfortable, and then Madison Skinner is not in her offensive rhythm because of that service pressure.
On the 5-0 Stanford run, Texas is going to take a timeout and talk it over.
thousands of women with medical.
Tim Duncan is here in the house.
Tim Duncan, one of the greats to ever play in the NBA. 5-time NBA champion. You and I saw him at the hotel last night, not realizing that his daughter's a freshman on the Stanford volleyball team. 6'4" middle blocker, Sydney Duncan.
Where'd she get that height? Whoops. That's a nice dad here watching. Meanwhile, Stanford on a 5-0 service run. And I feel like a lot of times when we talk about serving, we're talking about hard serves. Ogilvy's mixing it up. Hard, pace, different spots. Perfect pass to the middle. Nice run of the middle to get out of that run.
Swindle to Ames, running that middle, and it starts with that good pass. Texas controlling that first contact, but offensive numbers have come way down. Stanford's down to 154, and Texas hitting negative right now.
Akana back to serve. She's right to the middle. It's handled well. And there's a little bit of a height on that attack. Beautiful.
Wow. Jordan Harvey, first time playing because Kendall Kipp was the opposite last year, but she is something special. High flyer, and look at her turn down the line. She had inches to sneak that by Skinner and took it.
Skinner finds floor. Nobody able to get to it.
And Madison Skinner just going back to the basics, getting her foot, trying to find her flow. Beautiful swing to the corner for her.
Whitney Lonstein comes back in up front as Skinner moves to the backcourt to serve. No good. You talked about Stanford's numbers down offensively. What do you think that's due to?
Texas serving the ball a little bit better. You know, it's such an important part of the game. Every coach says, you know what, it's about serve and pass. So obviously you got to serve tough to create some defensive opportunities on the other side of the net, and then you got to pass to run your offense.
Slowed down. Back out to Kurt. Elliott from the backcourt. Halter gets underneath it. Here's a free ball to Stanford. Texas defense keeping a minute. Can they put it away? They do it with their block.
And Ella Swindle averaged almost 1 block per set last year. She's a good-sized setter. It's 6'3" and sets up a really solid block on the right side. Look at her hands turning that back into the court on the tight set.
Third block for Texas in this second set. Swindle stands at 6'3". Back out. When they go back outside to Kurt, good things happen.
I love what Kevin Hamley said about Kurt. He said, look, she's played at such a high level in Turkey that she's not afraid of big blocks. She will rip it, and we're seeing that today.
Taylor Yu has done a fantastic job from the service line. Stanford to slow it down, and they do. Skinner. No touch. We've seen a lot of balls go wrong with Maddie Skinner. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I like the location of that set. Maddie Skinner just trying to go deep into the corner, missing it long. Just rhythm off a little bit today. But she'll find it.
Yeah, I'll say so far, right? We don't know. Taylor Yu leaves, Sammy Francis re-enters. And then for Texas, Devin Kahahawai coming in up front for the first time. Kahahawai off her hands. Lonstein outside. Ball long. Wide.
Lonstein just misses that ball a lot wide by an inch. Good looking high contact swing.
Cami Minor, the most successful server for Stanford today on the back line as they lead by 4. That might be a break for Texas.
Texas still hitting negative numbers. They need to find their rhythm because Stanford's not going to let up today.
Not at all. Down by 3. They might have to get it done from the service line. Lonstein back to serve. Great serve by Lonstein causes trouble. Here's a free ball. Brought back into Swindle. Ogilvy. Skinner uses the block and out. Texas now within 2.
In defense to kill, Emma Halter controls that hard-driven ball, and then Skinner just working the ball off the block, out of bounds. Beautiful control, and Swindle pushing it out to that left pin.
Assistant coach David Hunt taking some time to talk with Madison Skinner. He is, if you will, their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and you want that kind of feedback as a player when you can't find your rhythm. Hey, how do I simplify? What can I change? And David Hunt's a perfect person to give her some feedback.
Former men's volleyball head coach at Pepperdine University. Hunt told us that Skinner practices as hard as anybody else in the gym. She's not a super, or harder than anybody else in the gym. She's not a super vocal player, he says, but when your best player is holding yourself accountable, the rest of the team will follow. Taking a look at Madison Skinner today.
Madison Skinner, high flyer out of the back court, one-on-one. That's advantage, Madison. And then you see her there, taking some big swings over the block, inside the block.
Kills set today. That's her average on the season. You mentioned postseason, how she showed up big, Madison Skinner did. She averaged 5.43 kills per set and hit 316 in postseason.
She was absolutely unstoppable. I think people are still having nightmares about Madison Skinner last year.
Whitney Lonstein served a nice ace. They need more from her from the service line. Another beautiful serve handled by Ogilvy. Up and down. Jordan Harvey elevates.
Jordan Harvey showing her versatility. She lines up as the opposite on the right side, but in that side-out rotation, she swings on the left and takes a huge rip at this ball. Middle blocker late for Texas, and she takes advantage with that hard cross-court swing. I love the baseline view because you see the gaping hole in the block.
Whoa! Cannon from Maddie Skinner.
David Hunt gave her some good feedback. She's finding her rhythm, and we're seeing what she can do offensively. This is Madison Skinner's ninth kill. Starts with a good pass, and she hits a little higher set and just goes over the top high C.
Minor outside to Elia Rubin. Skinner again. Yeah, you feed her again and again. Off the scoreboard, comes down on Stanford's side, so it's no problem. Such a beautiful play by Rubin to slow it down off the block.
Rubin using the outside hand of the block out of bounds to score that transition point, and now set point.
Elena Ogilvy on the service line for set point Stanford. They already won set number 1. Outside, Skinner for the block. Francis and Harvey shut it down and close out set number 2.
Stanford has been so impressive today, both offensively and defensively. And Coach Dingley told us, hey, we're a work in progress, but we're trying to get better every match.
Taking a look at service.
Yeah, this defensive stop pushing the ball out to Madison Skinner, who had success, but Sammy Francis and Jordan Harvey score the last point with a big defensive stop at the net.
You mentioned Stanford's numbers weren't great, but they got 2 set wins. What will Texas do in set number 3?
If I was to describe this sandwich in one...
It's at the Yum Center where the NCAA championship will be held this year. And both teams have been elite the last few years, and you expect the championship to run through both of these teams.
It is going to be a fun one. Make sure to catch that at 12:30 Eastern time on ABC. 2-set lead for Stanford as they have really dominated Texas so far, Holly. So what do you owe Stanford's success?
I think Stanford serving the ball well. In the area where they've really improved, and Kevin Hamley was a little bit worried about, was their block. But they blocked extremely well today, and they've made Texas really uncomfortable.
One of the things about Stanford is that they have moved it around to different zones as they have been serving. There's 6 zones on the court, Holly. Run people through them, if you would.
Well, if you look at a court that you've got 2, 3, and 4 are the short balls, and they can be super disruptive to an offense because hitters have to run routes. So I like a short serve, but then 1, 6, and 5 when you're targeting a certain area of the court, and Stanford's probably used every single zone today attacking Texas.
Let's take a look at them, including the seams, Holly, between zones.
Between 2 players is always a good area to attack from the serve. So you'll see a 5-6 zone. And here, Stanford just putting all sorts of pressure on Texas serve receive.
And see what I love there, right? It drops short after, they push them back. So you're moving forward, they're dropping.
And Area 3 is a great one for disrupting the offense out of the middle.
Area 3 being in the middle and short. Cami Minor had a 5-0 service run in set number 1 for Stanford. Elena Oakley served a 5-0 run in set number 2.
We start set number 3 for service Stanford off the hands of number 3.
What does Texas need to do right now?
Clean up their passing so they can hit for better numbers. They're hitting .074 on the day, and that's not good enough to beat Stanford.
We do see a lineup change for Texas as Skinner crushes. Devin Kahawai starts for Texas, excuse me.
Texas was out of system, but Skinner just did the work to kill that ball. And when you've got Madison Skinner on your team, that's helpful.
Ball will be tight. Skinner uses her left hand, trying to make it work.
Texas just scrambling to keep that ball alive and then doesn't get a swing off the dig.
Elena Oglevee again serving. And she's got Kahahawai in the back court. She goes right at her. Well passed. And run the middle. Spectacular play by Texas.
In Texas running that gap to Aiden Ames. She's a freshman middle blocker who can really do it all, but is finding her rhythm with Ella Swindle, spreading this offense. And look at, she's attacking the gap right between the middle blocker and the right side with success.
Elia Rubin, when she passes, she likes the rhythm attacking. Lots going on up there in a Texas ball.
And that's Aiden Ames realizing that that ball's coming over, and Stanford was a little bit late to realize that. Aggressive swing by number 5 in burnt orange.
Minor keeps it back. What do you think of the play of Jordan Harvey today?
I've been really impressed, but again, she's in good position. It's a juicy set right inside the antenna. It's got good pace, and Harvey knows how to get on top of it quickly.
Not easy to move from outside to opposite, but more and more common. Skinner She's up over everybody. She's not going down into the court.
Yeah, you want it contact on top of the ball to drive that down, work that top spin, and her point of contact is ridiculously high, so she just needs to finish with some more top spin.
We're going to keep going to Skinner. And Stanford's popping everything off. Expect Skinner again and again. The great ones demand the ball. Sammy Francis. Lethal.
Nakana trying to run that ball down. She's okay. Wow.
Sammy Francis is having a fantastic day.
Elia Rubin picks up the short ball, and then Sammy Francis stays on the right side, hitting that ball. Tough to stop. Love that choice for her to stay on the right.
7 kills for Francis. Texas hit negative numbers in set number 2. Stanford hitting 168, I think it was, in set number 2. It's all really coming from the service line.
Definitely. And Stanford in this set hitting 400. Texas hitting 125. Better than the negative numbers we saw in the last set.
Trying to get hands, perhaps, gets nothing, and Texas gets the point. Take the lead.
Yeah, it looked like Elia Rubin was trying to hit that flat through the block and just misses hands.
Madison Skinner, a 3-time national champion. Won a national championship at Kentucky before going to Texas and winning 2 there. We knew Rubin was going to be special when she came to the farm as a freshman. She has been playing all 3 years and contributing big time. 4.26 kills per set at an average coming into this match.
And she won a national championship when she was in high school at Marymount. She came in with a nice pedigree, so she knows how to win and figures out a way. She wants to win a national championship at Stanford.
1 kill away from double figure. Beautiful pass. It's all Skinner because it's showtime for Texas.
And we haven't talked about it a lot because I feel like Texas has struggled on their first contact. But when they're in system, they can just attack you and hurt you from so many different locations.
I'm trying to see if they've set anybody other than Madison Skinner in this set. I don't think they have. Here's Lonstein, though, with the swing. Gets the touch.
Mariana Singletary, number 11 in the front row, and then Whitney Lonstein that time gets the kill on the left side.
Texas using all of their middles today. Singletary, Ames, Nia Button has seen some time. Barker's revelations.
Really nice confidence by Kurt on the left side, attacking that block. And if you're Texas, you got to be ready, pressing those hands over on the other side of the net.
Taylor Yu and Texas's serve receive pinched left. She'll try to keep Lonstein out of it. She targets her.
In attacking the seam, the area between Lonstein and Akana, and there's a little bit of a communication breakdown.
Again, Lonstein all the way on the line. If you see, they're splitting the serve receive, really. Skinner, no one. Madison Skinner saying, Coach, there was a touch on that. Taking a look at the serve receive again.
You see traffic on the left side of the court, on our right side of the screen. And you just going after it down the line between Lonstein and Akana. Perfect
Original
location.
call was no touch. The coach believes that there was contact off Stanford.
So we have a challenge, the first of this match, and it is a touch off the block as Maddie Skinner was attacking. Holly, I know you've got just eagle eyes. Did you notice anything? You're not the final authority, but you're pretty good.
Thank you for that. I think there might have been a micro touch. It's Skinner one-on-one out of the middle, and that's why they're running that big, but it looks like it got a little piece of Lizzie Andrew in the center of the court.
Now again, the original call was no.
Like I said, that baseline looks like no touch.
Back off. Play stands with no contact, no conclusive evidence to overturn the call.
And as we suspected, Kaylee Kimura delivering the news. The call will stand. The call was point Stanford.
After measuring the original call stands.
Taylor Yu will go back to serve again. Stanford with a micro lead, 8-7, and a must-win set for Texas. Ball is good. We'll talk about the play in a second, but although Akana was pinned, it was a clean.
Taylor Yu is bombing the ball from the service line.
4-0 Stanford service run.
Akana off her shoulder to keep it alive.
Rutherford getting up a little slowly.
Mariana Singletary, that set was a little bit low to her. Stanford's block all over it.
And Holly, it is yet another 5-set run. The third 5-set run, 5-0 run, excuse me, 5-0 run we have seen in each set. This one by you, another by Ogilvy, another by Minor. 5-0 runs. Skinner off the block. Texas point.
That time, Stanford had 2 blockers in front of Maddie Skinner, and she goes off the hands wide.
Texas serving #1, Ella Swindle.
Swindle serves. Kahahawai comes in up front, and Maddie Skinner has clearly demanded the ball for Texas. Minor. Tell me about that set and why it scored versus Texas block.
Lizzie Andrew is getting more and more comfortable going behind the set, but Cami Minor has tons of confidence shooting it out to her, and the Texas block has to chase it. Watch this quick pace, and then Mariana Singletary is chasing that ball, and Lizzie Andrew attacks in that direction.
Lonstein handles the heat. Here comes Skinner. Stanford picking up everything. They go back to Kahahawai. Third swing for her. Block from Kahahawai. Who's going to put it away? Swindle goes to the middle. And the Liberals of Texas get it done.
So many incredible defensive stops and pressure by Stanford. Digging the heat from Singletary, up 12-8 in this third must-win set for Texas.
All right, Tina, 6 is hard to beat.
Not for us.
They're having a great match and stepping up on the big stage.
Stanford's won 6, 7 of the last 8 points.
The surface pressure has been the story today. This ball goes over, and look out below. Harvey puts a dent in the floor for Stanford.
Jarrett Elliott's facial expression says it all. Big swing. Stanford this season?
Well, obviously, they're a little flat today, but they have new players in new positions. They need to work on passing consistency so they can run their efficient offense. And they've had a two-setter battle, but now Ellis Swindle running the offense. And they're getting outblocked today by Stanford, so they want to pick up those numbers with their size and physicality at the net.
There, Texas breaks the spell. Whitney Lonstein behind the service line for Texas, and they have so much work to do. Holly, what, if you were given the opportunity to say something to Texas right now, given your expertise, what would it be?
Hey, let's over-communicate on our passing and take care of it. If we can get our setter in a good position, we've got so many offensive weapons, but that first contact is really dictating everything.
There's a nice first contact, to your point. Ball's coming. Skinner clears everybody out. Elliot Rubin, the sound of the ball alone is a kaboom.
In the quick set to the left antenna in transition, but Texas gave them a free ball. I mean, they had to do everything they could just to get it back over the net.
Up to that point, Texas had only won 2 of the last 13 points. It's been disastrous for them. Maybe they can get it going. Just halter behind the service line.
Jordan Harvey taking a big rip with Skinner in front of her. Found a little seam to work between the two blockers. Last year, non-conference, Stanford came to Austin, Texas, and swept Texas on their own floor. And now it looks like Stanford in a good position to start strong again.
Texas comes alive.
Kahawai and Ames on the stop there.
You mentioned that sweep. Excuse me, go ahead.
Texas, so good defensively when they block like that. I feel like they've been a little bit off defensively, but it's because Cami Minor, as a setter, really stresses the block on the other side of the net.
Sweep over Texas is the only road sweep in history
of Texas on their own floor.
Yeah. Wenis, nice first contact we talked about, leads to good things.
Everybody talks year after year about the physicality of Texas. If you're physical and you don't pass well enough to use it, it doesn't matter. But here, perfect pass from Wenis, and then Aiden Ames off the slide for the kill.
Yeah, Jared Ellis has been using Wenis to pass. Lonstein up front. Madison Skinner behind the service line. Decisions.
And for Texas, you have to know the setter's front row and have a blocker on Cami Minor. She's a physical athlete who's dynamic enough to go up and attack on 2. And anything close to the net, Ames' hands are not up and ready for that.
She's a freshman. I was making that mistake once, I bet. Lonstein gets up above the block.
Pretty good pass for Texas. They get Whitney Lonstein, and she just goes over the top. High contact point. She shows her physicality, making a nice transition to the left side. High down that line.
Quick, strength of Cami Minor on that set.
And E. Parker continues to take big swings against the Texas block with success. Good things happen when Taylor Hughes on the back line for Stanford.
Again, Texas is pinching Wonstein over, though not as much. We talked about zones earlier, and they looks like they're going for the 5-6 seam. Went long. They had success there, Taylor Yu did earlier. Cami Minor remains front court. Great block. Singletary over.
Jared Elliott told us this is the biggest area improvement of Mariana Singletary's game. She can be a defensive force at the net, way over the net on that block.
5 points for a two-time national champion is not something they can't overcome. They really have to be making the move right now in consecutive points. And a great put down point, Texas. Here they come.
And Kahawai took a huge transition swing on the right side, and Wonstein just cleaning things up on top of the net. Good team effort by Texas trying to push Stanford in this third set. Look at the rip on Kahawai. And then Wonstein takes care of that overdig.
After those runs from Stanford, Texas puts together one of their own, a 3-0 scoring run for Texas. And now trying to see if they can cool them down. Here's our next ACC Networks Women's Volleyball match, highlighted by the #1 team in the nation, top-ranked Pitt, hosts #3 Penn State at the Peterson Event Center, and a sellout of 12,000 plus is expected. The crowd's going to be amazing. Coverage begins. Twin squad trying to steady everyone. Terrific turnout today at Maples Pavilion, filled to the rafters.
I've been coming to Palo Alto for years covering volleyball. This is the best crowd I've ever seen for Stanford volleyball.
I agree. Swindle serve. And it's an ace. 4 consecutive for Stanford, for Texas. They're within 3.
And Jared Elliott said, you know what? Ella Swindle's in the match because she's a fighter, and that's who we need running our offense right now.
That ends the 4-0 run. Cami Minor, cue the music, goes back to the service line. Minor had a 5-0 serving run in set #1. She's got a couple of targets there for Texas. Kahawai has not been on her serve receive before. Center of the net, break for Texas. Got a nice ball line to Kahawai. Singletary and Skinner up front for the Longhorns.
Can they stop Stanford, slow down their offense?
Wonstein's serve is long, and now we've had 3 consecutive service errors, including the 2 teams.
And it's tough when you're this late in a set and trying to make a comeback when you're missing your serve.
Anna Pringle enters for Stanford again. Junior out of La Jolla. 6 aces on the season. Boy. A unified yips for these servers, both teams. 4 consecutive missed serves. Emma Halter in is good. And she does. Little ball just so perfectly placed by Rubin.
Elia Rubin earlier in this match established that she can crush the ball down the line. So if you're that right back defender, Ella Swindle, you are dug in for it, and then that short ball becomes available. Well placed by Elia Rubin of Stanford.
Ogilvy will serve again. They've taken Skinner out of the options. Wenis is traffic on the left side. Away from Skinner. And Kahawai with the point.
Number 44 in burnt orange. 6'4". She's got some nice offensive range going off the outside hands of Stanford's block.
Texas came in with 2 losses, but both of those were 5-set losses to 18th ranked Minnesota and Miami. Service ace.
Akana, one of the best servers on the Texas team, comes up with a big one there.
Kevin Hambley and Stanford take a timeout. Just try to slow down the momentum.
Nice flat, and that one just gets away from Stanford.
Yeah, you take those big runs out of these, and I realize you can't take these big runs out. People saying that, you know, and Texas has done some really good things in this set.
Correct. I mean, Stanford has put a lot of pressure. I feel like Texas just has not ever got their footing. They're always playing from behind because of the side out, the high side out numbers that we've seen from Stanford today.
Yeah, their hitting percentage, Texas is up to 250 right now in this set.
There's been some improvement for sure. But 18 hitting errors for Texas, that hurts.
Yeah, it sure does. And those were in the earlier sets for the most part. They've got 1 more than Stanford in this set, but they have 3 less kills. They have not allowed, Texas has not allowed Stanford to have consecutive points since it was 16-10. An important stat, kind of showing that they're not allowing the runs. Can they surge ahead now? Flat serve, perfect pass. Off the block. Point Stanford, it is match point Cardinal.
Jordan Harper, one of the best servers on the line for Stanford.
Harvey's serve goes long.
If you're Stanford, you don't want to let Texas back in this match.
Oh my goodness, no, and that's exactly what I'm thinking. And probably every standing fan in here as well. Taylor Bevan comes in to serve, and it's going to be on Maddie Skinner at the service line if Texas is to come back. Pass is perfect. Minor jams it past. Stanford sweeps Texas in the regular season for the 2nd consecutive year.
I'm really impressed by what Stanford was able to do, especially in their side-out offensive numbers. Really incredible. And the area that Kevin Hambley was most worried about was his blocking. And they put up some really nice numbers, 6 stops at the net.
Yeah, both teams 6. And this is for Stanford. This is the first 7-0 start since 2014. Kevin Hambley likes to schedule tough in the non-conference.
And this Stanford team has had lots of early season tests, and they've responded.
Let's take a look again at match point.
Tough serve from Madison Skinner, but you have to realize that Cami Minor is in the front row and be up, shutting that ball down. This is a really important defensive assignment, and that one gets away from Texas.
One more look at it. Touch. When we come back, we will talk with Cami Minor here and ask her about this sweep versus Texas.